John starts off with a swamp. Extra plays a Sumpel Grove tapped. Tom plays a Plains and a Terrarian, while Sam plays a Plains of his own. The turn moves back to John, who plays a Drowned Catacombs, an Arcane Signet, and caps his turn off with an Ozlith. He passes to Extra, who plays an Exotic Orchard, and immediately enchants it with a Trace of Abundance. He passes to Tom. Tom plays a Phyrexian's Core as his land for turn. He then casts a Prophetic Prism, drawing as it enters. Sam plays a Sunpetal Grove, which enters untapped. He then casts a Blind Obedience to the dismay of the rest of the table. He passes back to John. John plays a Haunted Ridge, untapped, then double ramps himself with a Talisman of Indulgence and a Talisman of Dominance. He passes to Extra. Extra plays a Stormcarved Coast, untapped, then taps out for his commander, Aragorn the Uniter, before passing to Tom. Tom plays the Plains and adds an Implement of Improvement to his growing collection of card draw artifacts. Sam plays a Grim Climb Pathway, getting all 3 colors to cast his own commander Bilbo, Birthday's Celebrant. He passes back to John. On his turn, John's only play is to tap out for Sauron, the Dark Lord, and then pass to Extra. Extra plays a Safe Right quest to search for Aspara's headquarters into his hand, triggering Sauron and Aragorn. John amasses 1, while Aragorn makes a 1/1 human soldier and pumps himself with +4/+4. Extra plays a Rockfall Veil for turn, then casts a Glory Scale Viashino, triggering Sauron again, as well as 3 of Aragorn's 4 modes. He makes another human soldier, deals 3 damage to John, and pumps Aragorn by an additional +4/+4. His bullying of John doesn't stop there though, as he swings Aragorn at him for 13. John declares no blockers, and Extra passes to Tom. Tom plays a Plains, then lays claim to the One Ring to rule them all. He gains protection from everything until his next turn, and Sauron amasses 1 once again. He passes to Sam. Sam plays a Knight of Dawn's Light, triggering Sauron and Blind Obedience. Sam pays the 1, extorting the table to gain 4 life thanks to Bilbo. The turn moves to John. John starts by casting the Reaver Cleaver, immediately moving to equip it to Sauron. He swings his commander in revenge at Extra, who declares no blocks, letting John make 7 treasures. Due to them coming tapped, he has no other play for the moment, and passes the turn to Extra. Extra sets John back a bit by casting Crystallization, targeting his Orc army, triggering Sauron, Glory Scale Viashino, and 3 of Aragorn's modes. He scries 2, pumps Aragorn with +4/+4, and makes a human soldier. With John wide open, Extra swings Aragorn for the kill with no hesitation, while sending the 6/6 Viashino and a soldier at Sam to tone his life total back a bit. John dies to commander damage, and Extra passes to Tom. Tom only plays a War Room for his turn before passing. Sam plays an Overgrown Tomb, paying the 2, and casts Veto, Thorn of the Dusk Rose. He then decides to do something about Extra's Aragorn, so he targets it with Swords to Plowshares. Extra is ready, however, and responds with a Simic Charm, giving his permanents hexproof until end of turn, while triggering Aragorn's blue and green modes. Tom is ready on the draw though, and puts a Dispatch with the Metalcraft bonus on the stack, targeting Aragorn. With no other answers from Extra, Aragorn is exiled. Extra scries 2 and pumps a creature with +4/+4. Then his permanents gain hexproof until end of turn, and Swords to Plowshares fizzles. Pleased with their teamwork, Sam passes to Extra. Extra plays a Stomping Ground, untapped, paying 2 life, then recasts his commander, triggering Glory Scale Viashino. He swings the Viashino at Tom for 6, before moving to his end step. In response, Tom taps the One Ring, putting a counter on it and drawing 1. He then moves to his turn. On his upkeep, Tom loses 1 to the One Ring. He plays a Buried Ruin for turn, then caps his turn off with a Chromatic Star. He passes to Sam. Sam plays a Whip of Erebos and swings at the blockerless Tom with his lifelink empowered Bilbo and Veto. He gains 7 life thanks to all his modifiers, and targets Extra with Veto's trigger. He then passes to Extra. Extra plays a Clifftop Retreat, then casts Bring to Light, triggering Aragorn and Viashino. He scries 2 and chooses to pump Aragorn. He searches for and casts Phology Wayfarer, who counts as a 5-colored creature, triggering Viashino and all 4 of Aragorn's modes. He chooses to pump Aragorn, make a human soldier, scry 2, and deal 3 to Tom. Before the triggers resolve, he puts a Sundering Growth onto the stack, targeting Blind Obedience and triggering Viashino and Aragorn. He pumps Aragorn again and makes another human soldier but still enters tapped. Blind Obedience is then destroyed, Aragorn's other triggers resolve, and Phology Wayfarer enters untapped. Extra continues with a Cabaretti Charm, choosing the damage mode, targeting Sam's Knight of Dawn's Light, and triggering Viashino and Aragorn, pumping Aragorn, making a 1-1, and dealing 3 to Tom. He then moves in for his second kill by swinging his 21/21 commander at a now defenseless Sam, and 3 of his tokens at Tom. Tom activates the One Ring in response, putting a counter on it, and drawing 2. Sam dies to commander damage, and Tom takes 3. At the end of Extra's turn, Tom flashes in his commander, Gandalf the White. Tom then moves to his turn, losing 2 life to the One Ring on his upkeep. He then activates the One Ring, putting a counter on it, and drawing 3. He sacks his Chromatic Star for 1 white, drawing 2 to its Leave the Battlefield trigger thanks to Gandalf. He activates Terrarion, making 2 white, and drawing 2 off of its Leave the Battlefield as well. He does the same with his Implement of Improvement, gaining 2 life and drawing an additional 2. He casts a Sleeper Dart, drawing 2 more cards off its ETB. He sacks the dart immediately, preventing Aragorn from untapping next turn. He follows up with a Portable Hole, exiling 2 of Extra's tokens. He then plays a Plains for turn, a Liquid Metal Torque, an Arcane Signet, a Claws of Gix, and a Mishra's Bauble. He sacks the Bauble and passes. On Extra's upkeep, Tom draws thanks to Mishra's Bauble. Extra cycles Sparta's Headquarters, looking for anything useful, then is forced to play Rejuvenating Springs, return, and passes to Tom. Tom loses 3 life to the One Ring on his upkeep, then activates it to draw 4. He plays a Plains, he plays Yosei the Morning Star, and a Scrapyard Recombiner. He activates Claws of Gix, sacking Yosei and gaining 1 life. Yosei's death trigger happens twice, tapping all of Extra's permanents and skipping his next untap step. To add insult to injury, he swings Gandalf at Extra. Extra, now completely helpless, plays a Forest for turn and passes to his doom. Tom loses 4 to the One Ring, then taps it to draw 5. He plays a Plains, followed up by Ao, the Dawn Sky. He sacks it to Claws of Gix, triggering Ao twice. He puts an Unwinding Clock and a Car Clan Ironworks onto the battlefield, and proceeds to combo off with Ironworks, eventually fighting his Crap Trawler and an Arcbound Ravager to give 20 +1/+1 counters to Scrapyard Recombiner and swing for the win.